Roll call, please.
Mr. Comiskey?
Here.
Mr. DeSarno?
Here.
Mrs. Jeffrey?
Here.
Mayor Morgan?
Here.
Mr. Munoz?
Present.
Mrs. McKnight?
Here.
Mrs. Belisca?
Here.
Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's a public meeting of the Borough Council, Borough of New Providence, County of Union, State of New Jersey. Adequate notice has been given in accordance with PL 1975, Chapter 231. And then an annual notice of revision was made in conformance with Section 13 of the Act. Before we go any further, I think we all know what's going on in Ukraine. Nadine and I hung a Ukrainian flag out in the front to show our support on behalf of the community. There's a lot of effort going on. I was at the State House today, and the Assembly passed the Senate bill that does not allow any state resources to be used or any kind of transactions done with Belarus or with Russia. But the carnage there is just unbelievable, so I would just stand and have a minute of silence and pray for the people in Ukraine. Thank you. And it's also International Women's Day. And New Providence, for years, has been blessed with many, many talented women. In fact, Rob, Pete, Matt, we can have a couple right up here. And Bernadette, Denise is right there, and we could go on and on about the women that serve us in the borough. Police, fire, rescue squad, all public safety, there's not recreation, and we could go on and on, finance. You know, there's not one facet of our local government that isn't impacted by women and the great job that they do for us. We'd be lost without their skills and their knowledge. So I just wanted to say that, and I am very proud that we celebrate International Women's Day here. So at that, we go to approval of minutes for February 22nd. A motion, please.
So moved. I'll second that.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
No, so be it. We have appointments, Diversity Committee, Casey Arias, Jose Garcia, Cindy Warm, Mike Mascarina. Do I have a motion
So
to
moved.
approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No, so be it. Historic Preservation Commission, we have 3 members that have volunteered: Alan Leonard, Class A, Jeff Grove, Class C, and Dan Badgley, Class B. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No, so be it. Okay, let's go council business. Administration, Diane.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 2022-02 is an ordinance amending Chapter 147 of the Code of the Borough of New Providence entitled Fees and Licenses. This ordinance adjusts the sanitary sewer fees for multiple housing units from $100 to $125 per year. Additionally, it is a correction of a previous ordinance to indicate new connections only in 2B and correctly listing the testing fee at $50 in F3.
Okay, thank you. Pete, community activities.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2022-79 is a resolution authorizing agreement between the Borough of New Providence and the New Providence Community Pool for a summer recreation program. Specifically, this is an agreement between the Borough and the Community Pool for use of the pool to provide swim lessons. Ordinance 2022, number 3, is amending ordinance 2014-01, which created Department of Community Activities and Community Activities Advisory Board. That's it, Mayor.
Okay, finance, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an authorization to advertise RFQ for a revaluation firm. As you know, the borough has not done a revaluation in over 20 years. So we're going to go out and RFQ for our future revaluation. Resolution 2022-080 is a resolution authorizing payment of the attached bills payable list in the amount of $2,477,271.49. This is our bills payable. Some of the significant items are our Board of Education February payment of $1,330,141. Depository trust on our debt, interest and principal payment in the amount of $872,700. And our library February payment of $85,585. Resolution 2022-081 is a resolution authorizing cancellation of taxes receivable. This is a cancellation of taxes for a resident in the amount of $8,046.64 due to 100% disabled veteran exemption. It's approved by our tax authority. Resolution 2022-082 is a resolution authorizing emergency temporary appropriations. As typical this time of year, this is a temporary appropriation resolution that provides for the continuing operation of the borough.
Thank you. Well, Rob, you got a two for legal and regulatory and personnel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2022-83 is a resolution appointing Brenda Cuba as our substitute municipal court judge whenever our judge is unavailable. She already is a substitute judge, is just reappointing her for the next year. I've known Brenda for probably more than 20 years. She was a long-term judge in Westfield, and now she's the presiding municipal court judge in Union County, so I have no doubt she's got good qualifications for that position. I also asked Bernadette, what happens, like who pays, how does she get paid, right? If our judge misses his court date and she has to fill in, do we pay them both? And she said, no, our judge only gets paid when he's here. So it's really not an extra cost to us. Resolution 2022-84 is a resolution memorializing the retirement benefit for Stephen Stein, Public Works Department of the Borough of New Providence. Steve's been in the borough for 35 years. We gave him a little bit of an incentive to retire a little bit early, and he's taken that incentive, and this resolution just memorializes that agreement. Resolution 2022-85 is a resolution for our borough administrator. When we hired Bernadette about a year and a half ago, I know we had always said we'd go back and readjust her salary after she had some time in the position, so that's kind of what we're doing now. So when Doug retired at the end of 2020, he stayed on for a couple months just to train Bernadette. But when she took over in 2021, she was hit with circumstances that none of us ever anticipated. We had some IT issues, there were personnel issues, there was a flood recently, there were public safety issues. So she's handled all of those issues with poise and confidence and her steady leadership. This resolution, it raises her salary to $135,000 with a small car allowance on top of that. So looking at it big picture, it seems like her salary is low, and compared to her peers in this area, it actually is the lowest out of all of them. So, considering that, I think we felt it was appropriate to bring up her salary just a little bit. And just to give you an idea, the next lowest paid administrator is in Cranford, who is earning $140,000, and he's been there for 3 years. Then you have next door in Berkeley Heights, their BA is earning $147,000. They've been there for 3 years. And Long Hill and Chatham, they both earn $150,000, and they've both been there for 4 years. So, that $135,000 salary, again, is, I think, more than commensurate with the pay for a BA in this area. The good thing about Bernadette, of course, is that she lives in the town. She's a parent in this town. She understands our culture, our traditions in this borough. She answers all of our calls, emails, texts at any time of the day or night, no matter what day of the week it is, even on Saturdays and Sunday nights. At our behest, she's been taking courses through Rutgers. For example, she graduates in June from the State Certified Public Manager Program. She goes every Wednesday night to Rutgers University for that. She's taken Principles of Public Purchasing 1, 2, and 3. She's going to graduate with the Municipal Finance Administration for Public Purchasing Personnel Certificate this month, and she will sit for the QPA exam, the Qualified Purchasing Agent, in June. So, one thing all of us here have learned is that it's hard to find and to retain qualified individuals. With all of these certifications, Bernadette is going to be a hot commodity, so to speak. So we need to do what we can to retain her. But that's it.
I'd just like to request, I did request some additional information relating to the salary resolution, and I agree with everything you said, and I love Bernadette to death. And I think she's doing a phenomenal job. I did want additional details relating to, I get you sent in some information related to the years of experience. I don't know what that years of experience at that particular job, whether it was additional years of experience. I wanted some more details relating to longevity, related to total overall experience. I also was looking for, as the chairman of the finance committee, I wanted to make sure and see specific line items and increases of specific line items that I still haven't received. So I respectfully would like to make a motion to table this resolution at this time.
Have a motion, a second, or not to table?
Yeah, Mayor, I'd be happy to second that motion. I think, as our finance chair is requesting, if he needs to have additional time to assess the overall impact to the budget and get the additional information he's needing, I see no reason to not table that at this time.
No. I'll take a roll call. To table.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Aye.
Mr. DeSarno?
Aye.
Mrs. Joffler?
No.
Mr. Munoz?
No.
Mrs. McKnight?
No.
Mrs. Beloska?
No.
Okay.
And then we have a authorization to post a roadman position. That's to fill the vacancy that's going to be created by Stephen Stein's retirement. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a limousine license for Summit Express. All the papers have been properly prepared and reviewed. Resolution 8086 is a resolution to authorize the entry into and execution of federally agreement for the Safe Routes to School grant. Okay, we have a discussion item, COVID assistance. As you know, as of yesterday, the emergency powers were lifted with the masks and everything else. And last November, was it? We said we would do the outdoor dining till May 1st. However, since the emergency doesn't exist anymore, we're gonna have to change our ordinance, or gonna have to go before the Board of Adjustment. Because if you do the outside and you go into the parking lots, you won't have sufficient parking. So that's where we're at. Paul, do you have any comment on that, or?
No, just it has to be addressed.
Yes.
As you said. I believe it reads that up until time of emergency is lifted, so you're going to have to, either it just ends really at this point, or if you want to take action, you're going to
Well, what I don't want to do is, I'm going to give people a chance to go to the Board of Adjustment. And how would we do that? Because I don't think it's fair that we just say, oh, it's ended, and some people are left hanging out to dry. So,
I think we have to amend the ordinance.
okay,
And indicating that, I would even indicate in it that we're doing this to allow a period for business owners to make any appropriate applications. But again, putting a deadline, saying it will end, whether it's May 31st, whatever date. So I
Yeah.
think we should do that at the next meeting.
okay. If you could draw that up.
Of course.
Okay, great. Is everybody in agreement with that?
Yeah, I think that's a good approach. I think that has to be done sooner rather than later, obviously, because these business owners are going to incur expenses as far as getting tents and things like that for their outdoor dining. So that should be, let's try to tee it up as quick as possible.
Well, they'll have to go before the Board of
Right,
Adjustment. That's the
that's,
thing.
I understand.
And, okay. Takes care of that. Any other discussion items? Seeing none, we'll go right to committee reports, and it's up to me. Operations normal. We just did this 2 weeks ago. Matt?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, a couple quick items. Planning board did meet. We talked about the sign ordinance that we passed. They checked it against the master plan and agreed it was consistent. So, thank you for that. Board of Health, I wasn't able to attend the meeting. I don't know if Mr. Munoz has an update on the meeting today, but I did want to just mention we received a seminar or webinar that's coming up on March 16th. I wanted to just mention, and maybe we can put this up on the borough website as well. COVID updates, what adults should know, and I think this is great because I'm sure everyone's as confused as I am. New mask guidelines, different types of testing, new isolation and quarantine timeframes, adult immunization schedules, Q&A, et cetera. It's going to be on March 16th at 1 p.m. and then, like I said, it's a webinar. So just wanted to mention that. And on Finance Committee, we're continuing to fine-tune the budget.
Okay, Pete?
Yeah, I'll be quick. Capital Review Committee, as you know, I chair that, and that feeds into Councilman Comiskey's work on the Finance Committee, which he chairs. So we're looking to have another meeting this week so we can get our final product to him, and that could flow through his process, or that team's process, I should say. Community activities, couple announcements real quick. Spring season registration is open, including youth and adult seasons via Community Pass. Classes begin at the end of March. The summer catalog is available on the Recreation website. Registration began on March 4th for all camps except Team Venture, which will begin on March 15th at 9 o'clock. I know that's always a popular one. The Recreation Department is still hiring summer employees, including camp counselors and swim teachers. Interested parties may apply via Community Pass or can call the Recreation Office for more information. And finally, from a sustainability team standpoint, our team would just like to make the request of council and just inform you that I'd like to do a tree sapling giveaway like we do each year, which is a very well-attended event. The proposed date is April 23rd. The time would be 10 to 2, and it would be at the same location we've done it for years, next to the library. If you're facing the library, we're on the right-hand side there. So,
Anybody have any problem with that?
No.
No? Okay,
thank you.
that's good. Okay, let's see.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple things. On February 23rd, I attended QPR training with Councilwoman McKnight, Councilwoman Bliska, and Councilman Comiskey. This was a very powerful training about suicide awareness and ways to assist in prevention. So it's Q for question, P for persuade, and R to refer. And it is a training to help people recognize when somebody may be having a crisis and what the warning signs are that they may be contemplating suicide. This training was offered through the Municipal Alliance, and it was we're trying to do a grassroots rollout. The people who would be most helpful to have this training would be coaches, Girl Scout, Boy Scout leaders, any teacher, anybody who has interaction with young people, that they would have the tool set available to recognize when somebody is in crisis. So this organization that's running this is now giving us 3 more classes for free. So gradually, we're looking to get this out into the community to have as many leaders and people, coaches who interact with children to have this training. It was a very, very powerful, dynamic activity. I was very moved by it, and I know others were as well. Just trying to recognize it and just actually ask the question could impact so many. The statistics are frightening, how many people are taking their own lives. And anything, the more people that can be trained, the more people that can be saved. So it was an excellent presentation. We are rolling it out I don't know if we want to like offer it to recreation teachers in town, but anybody who deals with youth should have this training, and it was excellent.
Yeah.
So,
The price point on it was definitely worth, I mean, obviously, how what it costs, et cetera, but it's so ridiculously low, we should definitely be offering it for programs, especially leaders. And I did want to say, the one thing I learned, which I thought was really, really good advice, was put the suicide prevention hotline number on your phone,
Yeah.
put it in your kids' phones, right? And not so much that you're afraid that your kids might need it, right? They may be in a position where someone in their friend circle says something or does something, and they have it. Really, really powerful stuff.
and that's 1-800-273-TALK. Very powerful. Do you think I covered that? Anything you guys had from that?
Yeah, I think you got it,
Yeah,
but you're
it
right,
was-
it was, and it really very eye-opening. There were a lot of great questions that were asked, things that you don't think about, or things that you might be afraid to say to someone, and the bottom line is, get over your fears and ask the questions.
Just ask the question. It can really help and impact somebody. So that training will be coming out. We do get 3 free more sessions, and then from there, like you said, it's a de minimis amount, and it's worth every penny. Lastly, Diversity Committee was working on a survey over the last last 2 years. They have compiled the results. Councilwoman Bliska and I heard the results, and we will be bringing those to council shortly.
Okay,
And that's it for me.
well,
So as Matt said earlier, there was a Board of Health meeting on March 2nd, and there were 2 big issues that were discussed. So right now in Westfield, there's a company called Wonder. It's like a fancy delivery service, if you will. They're trucks that'll pull up to the front of your house, and they'll deliver you hot food. You order it online or through an app, and the food is actually cooked in a commissary in Cranford. Then it's kind of vacuum sealed, and it's put into the trucks. The trucks will deliver it to your house. They'll put it in a fancy microwave, heat it up, and bring it out to your house so that it looks like it's a freshly cooked and prepared meal. So the question was, at the Board of Health, was how do we inspect those and how do we permit those? Westfield right now is taking a stance of, we're just going to charge you $50 for 6 months because Wonder has applied to the state for an exemption of having each individual truck inspected by a food inspector. Their argument is that, the food truck is an extension of the commissary. So if the commissary is inspected, then we don't have to inspect the food truck. And I think for the most part, the state has agreed with them. There's a draft letter of interpretation that's been written that Megan Avalone has read, and it agrees with Wonder's position that they shouldn't have to inspect all of those trucks except for sushi trucks, because that's actually prepared in the truck itself. But that letter is kind of held up in legal in Trenton, so it's supposed to be released probably in the next several months. So as a result of that, the Board of Health thought, let's just kind of hold off before we do anything, and let's see what the state decides to do with that issue with the Wonder trucks. But as far as I know, I think they're currently operating now in Providence.
yes.
Yeah, I've seen them.
And the other issue was the actual contract with the Westfield Board of Health. So as you know, we contract with the Westfield Board of Health for those services, and it's a little over $60,000 a year that they charge us for that. So the Board of Health thought that they had signed a contract last year for a 3-year term. At the meeting on March 2nd, Megan said, well, you know what, Westfield Council never signed it. So in effect, we've been working without a contract for the past 3 months. And they never signed it because they're going to increase their rates for all of the 8 municipalities that they serve. So as a result, they've given us a 1-year contract to execute. It's the same rate, but the rates are going to go up next year. So that didn't sit kindly with the Board of Health members, especially Dr. Bob Robinson and Kevin Lake. So they've begun kind of a search, if you will, of other boards of health, and they're looking around to see what they're charging, and they're also exploring the possibility of contracting with the county Board of Health to provide those services. And let's see if we can find a cheaper option than what we pay now with Westfield, or what they're going to charge us for. So that's kind of what they're doing now. Oh, and lastly, there was a food truck that applied for a permit and an inspection to be parked at Untied Brewery, because, they can't serve there, but at
Right.
least there'll be a food truck there in the near future. Yeah, that's it.
Which one?
I don't know what to.
Lisa,
Thank you, Mayor. So Municipal Alliance met on February 23rd. The gist of that meeting was really to just finalize details on every 15 minutes, which is on track and ready to be filmed on May 23rd and presented to the kids on the 24th, so we're looking forward to that. Also, falling under the umbrella of Municipal Alliance is Nadine and I visited a nonprofit organization in Bernardsville called Community in Crisis. They were referred to us by some other folks, and Community in Crisis works with communities, schools, other municipal alliances to help combat and counsel drug addiction, basically. So they have a really deep bench of employees, paid employees, counselors, youth counselors, and they have the resources available to help our little municipal alliance, right? So Jim Madden was here last week talking about a new program that Municipal Alliance is looking to expand on called 20-something. Well, Community in Crisis already has a toolkit. They already have those resources. So we are looking to maybe partner with them and have them help us, right? So instead of us recreating the wheel, they already have the resources. They have a young counselor there that just graduated a couple years ago, and she really relates well to kids, to young adults, more so than someone like, Rob or I would be able to relate to a 20-something. But we really do look forward to being able to work with them and partner with them, so we're going to continue our discussions with them. And they are, like I said, nonprofit, so they wouldn't be charging us anything. They do have a lot of grants and a lot of financial resources as well. So that's that. And then communication, we did not have a formal meeting, but just wanted to expand a little bit on what we were talking about at the last meeting. And that is how information gets out to the residents. We just kind of want to reiterate that the formal channels of communication are our website, where they, full of information. Find anything you need on there. Plus, you can watch the council meetings on there for that kind of information. We have an official Facebook page, and we have a Twitter page where our information officer will pump out information that's pertinent and relevant and needed by the community. To that end, we were thinking of how can we really get information out to our residents. So we're going to try doing something called Council in a Minute. And I'm going to ask each one of you council members to provide some bullets from your committee meetings that you've attended so that we can let the town, the borough know as well. And we can kind of reiterate that information. Now, I know that it's on the council, it's on the meeting video. It's out there in other ways, but this is just yet another form of communication. And maybe just to really just get that information out there. And then we can always, say, watch the video, the meeting video for detailed information. Mm-hmm. But I think it's important that we just kind of keep pumping the information out and that we keep sharing it.
I think that's a good idea. We need, I think, just to be more specific, the Council for a Minute would be something that would be on our borough webpage, is that?
Yes, so we're going to put it on the webpage and on Twitter.
Great.
So it'll be Council in a Minute, right? Just some bullet points of what's happening in town, important information that residents need to know, maybe some useful information, something about Sustainability Committee, the sapling giveaway, just more information. Then let's get it out.
The webpage or Facebook?
We're going to do it on Facebook and we're going to do it on Twitter.
Okay.
So it goes to the webpage feeds
Yes.
Facebook and Twitter. So the webpage, everything, all the information begins on the webpage, and then it gets fed downward. So it'll be on all three locations.
But I need you
now, how often are you gonna do this?
periodically.
We
We're not
expect you to
gonna-
give an update every week.
Because you can't do it,
We're not going. There's not going to be a schedule.
Okay.
But we'll do it periodically.
And it's a launch. You know, we've been continuously trying to reach out to our residents any way we can. So this is kind of just another way to give them summarized information, and if they want more information, they can come to this video.
That's all I have.
Okay. Thane?
Thank you. Thank you for all your work on that, Lisa. So the Board of Education's last meeting was 2/24, which was the district curriculum report, and we had kids from K to 12. It was really fantastic. The orchestra actually played before the meeting. We really are very fortunate. We live in such a wonderful community. We have such talented kids. It was really amazing to see. Congratulations to the NPGL hockey team who won the state championships. And our girls basketball team lost today, but they fought hard and they are champions. They're an amazing team. The spring musical is this weekend and next weekend. Kids are working really hard on that. And that's just everything in a nutshell there. For Historical Society, we had a meeting with about the Historic Preservation Commission, and we're all about communication and working and moving forward. So that's about it.
Thank you. Bernadette?
Thank you, Mayor. Sorry, my voice is a little scratchy from a few weeks' worth of rooting. Just a few things. Just a reminder that the plastic bag ban takes effect on May 4th. There should be signs in windows in downtown businesses and shops. There's definitely more information on our website, so if you need more information about that. May 4th is the hard cut. I know with the recent storms, people have started to put some of their brush out to the curb. Brush pickup will not begin until April 4th, and it will last until December 13th. So if you're cleaning up after all those twigs and branches that have fallen down recently, please keep them in wherever you're storing your brush until the 4th. They shouldn't be at the curb. And just another reminder that there is a rash of car thefts in the area, that people should be locking their doors at night and taking their keys. Don't fall victim because you just forgot to take your key fob inside. And last but not least, parking permits will be available starting April 1st of this year through March 31st of next year for residents at $420. So as people are starting to head back to work, start thinking about your parking passes. You can't park at the train stations without them. That's all I have.
Okay, we have public comments. Anybody wishing to address council, raise their hand. Name and address. Seeing no one, I see there's nobody here. Okay, public hearing is closed, so I need a motion for items 1 through 13, please.
Are we having a separate vote on,
Do that separate.
Can we do that? Which one is 9?
Yeah, I think that was the salary one.
9?
12.
Okay, so 1 through 13 minus 9.
so move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Aye.
Mr. DeSarno?
Aye.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Belisca?
Aye.
Resolution 9, item 9.
So moved.
I second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Kaminsky?
No.
Mr. DeSarno?
No.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Belisca?
Aye.
Okay. All right, so at this time, we have to go into executive session. Please read the title.
Resolution 2022-1A is a resolution establishing March 8th, 2022 as the date, and 8:04 as the time, and the Municipal Center as the place for the holding of a special meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of New Providence to discuss contract matters involving Mountain Valley Dispatch Center, at which time the public will be excluded.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No, so be it. Okay, thank you.